Okay, now we get to the essence, and this is such a no-brainer at the end of the day, but this is not often recognized by mobile operators, not because there's anything wrong with them or they come from a different technical background. It is where they're coming from. They're coming from servicing mobile users, then started to add some fixed users with routers. And the whole philosophy has really been around mobiles. And with mobiles, you have to accept people with bad signal. I mean, that's the whole idea. You have to service whoever is there, driving in a car, sitting in a house, and so forth. So they've never really had a way of just increasing people's signal. So that never played a big role. But now that we look for pure fixed wireless case, or even some of your users are fixed wireless, let's now look at revenue. You must remember that there was a cost associated with taking this number of consumers in a cell by a factor of 4. And that cost was to provide every user, every consumer, that's assumed up to now, with an antenna, had to be installed. These are typical numbers that we find in Europe. I know the US is similar. In South Africa, the installations cost may be less. And then we assume that the contract or the income to the operator, it's some package that people buy for €20 a month. Don't know whether that's typical. We had to assume something there, and €20 does seem to be a sort of figure that makes sense in most cases. So that's an additional cost. He has to spend that additionally for every house that he equips with an antenna. And what I really want to show is, at the moment, this is seen as an extra cost. No, we're not going to do it unless the signal is bad, or only for some users, etc., etc. What I will show is that if the operator absorbs this cost, don't consider it as a cost for the customer, then he will actually make more profit in a fixed wireless service. And I suppose it's simple from everything what we've said before. So we go back to our previous example, and that is fairly typical. So if you'll only be able to service about 40 users with indoor routers. And by the way, those numbers are close to typical. I've spoken to operators here that starts offering specific fixed wireless packages. You must remember this is just additional to the coverage they provide to mobiles, and they're often restricted to this type of number per sector, in other words, per cell, because they know that any more would start bringing the cell capacity down and the experience down. But over a 24 2-year contract, this is the revenue that they will earn on the left-hand side from that cell. And now on the right-hand side, it's on the one hand easy because we're now going to have 150 users. Okay, so the revenue will increase quite a bit. But of course, to play fair, we also have to take into account that we're now going to spend what seems initially like a large amount of money on every single user. We're equipping every single user with an antenna, which will be 450 users, equal to that amount. And if you look at the first 2-year contract, we will be earning that much revenue. But if we subtract, and note I'm subtracting the cost of those antennas, then we would still be earning €33,000 or dollars, pretty similar numbers. And in this case, you can see that there's already a massive improvement. So really difficult to see what is difficult to understand about this. And if it's another 2-year contract, because people don't always just stop after 2 years, they take out another contract, that's probably a lot more likely on the right-hand side because they're getting very nice service, stable, and many other aspects. And then the difference gets massive because remember, the same antenna will be used. It's not like you have to reinstall the antenna to give another guy another 4 years of service. And then the difference becomes massive. As you can see, you're now earning more than twice, close 2.5 times the income from this cell. Remember, using the same infrastructure. Okay, you didn't extend your infrastructure to do this. You simply transferred the cost of infrastructure to include antennas with every user. Okay, you consider that as part of CapEx. You spend a little amount of CapEx to increase your revenue by a factor of 4 or 5 times. I think we just assumed 4 times roughly. If you look at 40 to 1, not even 4 times, but it's already making a lot of sense.